नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधानाथ स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात्य देशतारिणे। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितमेन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सखगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सखगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसूते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ईश्वरा परम कृष्णा सच्चिदानंद विग्रह अनादिरादिर गोविंदा सर्व कारण कारणम। हरे कृष्णा। By Lord Sri Krishna's causeless mercy, we are nicely studying Bhagavad Gita every day, at least 6 days a week. And during this time, that is Saturday evening US time and Sunday morning India time, we are in a different cycle. We finished second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We are going to start third chapter today. So we study 4 slokas in this like Saturday evening time, US time, Sunday morning India time. But other days we are studying 1 sloka. We are in the 9th chapter now. We finished 7 slokas in the 9th chapter. So by Krishna's causeless mercy, we are getting opportunities to study Bhagavad Gita. We are studying, we are making progress. So when we get this knowledge fully, so then we will be able to use this knowledge in our life. So Arjuna, in the 2nd chapter, we understood in the 1st chapter about Arjuna's situation in the battlefield. He was completely helpless. Arjuna was telling Krishna, he was trying to convince Krishna that why he should not fight. So Arjuna told so many reasons which look like very valid reasons that why he should not fight. So we understood that very clearly. And Arjuna was he was very compassionate basically. So Kripaya Paraya Vishnu. So Arjuna was not afraid of war, but he didn't want the war because he didn't want to kill his own kinsmen, his relatives. Because Arjuna's point is very correct in terms of what he was saying to Krishna, that why should I kill these people for whom I have come here to fight? So they are all here ready to come and fight with me, but I have come here to fight for them. So that's what Arjuna told. So they are ready to fight with me and die. They are ready to give up their belongings. They are ready to give up everything. They are ready to give up their lives. But I have come here to fight for them. So then how is it, then if I fight and kill them, then how can I say that I'm fighting for them? So that's what Arjuna asked Krishna. So that way in this material world, we are relating a lot of things. We are completely kind of ourselves, like in this material world, whatever we see, whatever we hear, whatever we are understanding and everything, we live in this world. That is a problem. Because Arjuna couldn't see the big picture. Because he was identifying himself with the material body. Arjuna identified himself with the material body and he thought that all relatives are there. So Kimno Rajena Govinda Kimbogaihi Jivitena Va Yesa Marte Kanksitam No Rajyam Bogaga Sukhanicha Taime Avasita Yudde Pranam Stektva Dhananicha. So all of them are here. All kinds of relatives are here. Acharyaga, Pitaraga, Putraga, Tataivacha Pitamagaga, Matulaga, Swasuraga, Pautraga, Syalaga, Sambandhinas, Tata. Everyone is there. All kinds of relatives are there. Everyone is going to, they are all going to get killed in that battlefield. And that Arjuna has to kill them. Arjuna has to kill his grandfather Bhishma, his teacher Dronacharya, all such things. So that's why Arjuna is asking this question to Krishna, that why should I fight? Because he identified with himself with this body, the relationship in this way. So we also in our life every day, when we do all our activities, are only we are doing in that kind of consciousness, bodily conscious. Whatever we do, everything in our life, it's all bodily conscious, because we don't have the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Because Arjuna, when he got the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, when he understood Bhagavad Gita from Krishna, then he came out of that bodily conscious. Then he became Krishna conscious. That is the soul conscious, Krishna conscious. So that is what the difference between a person who is having the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and acting with intelligence. So today we are going to study about that intelligence even more, because Arjuna is asking another question today. So we finished Arjuna's question. Arjuna asked a question in the second chapter, 54th sloka. For that in 18 slokas, Krishna answered very well, very nicely. So when Arjuna asked, what are the symptoms of a self-realized person? How does he sit? How does he speak? What is his language? How does he speak? And how does he sit? And how does he walk? Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha, samadhistasya kesava, sthitadi kim prabhasheta, kimmasita vrajeta kim. So for that, Krishna answered everything very clearly in 18 slokas. We understood everything. So it's very important for us to keep going back to those slokas again and again and study and understand and memorize. And we need to realize all these verses. It's very important, because all these things basically they are like a checkpoints. We need to qualify a checklist basically. For us to be a Sthita Prajna, for us to reach that Sthita Prajna is Brahmi Sthiti. That's what in the last sloka in the second chapter we studied. Yesa Brahmi Sthiti Partha Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati. So Brahmi Sthiti and Sthita Prajna, they are all same. Brahmi Sthiti means we are situated in Brahman. That's what is known as Brahmi Sthiti. And what is Brahman? Krishna's world. And Krishna's supreme world, that Golokam, so that is a place. Krishna is saying that I have established this Brahman. So Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, Pradishtaham. So Amritasya, Avyayasya cha, Sasvatasya cha, Dharmasya, Sukasya Kanti, Tasya cha. So that's why Krishna is saying that. Brahmano hi Pratishtaham. So Krishna has established that Brahman. So when we elevate ourselves to that situation, that Sthita Prajna, that is Brahmi Sthiti, so that means if we are able to, in all those checklists, if we are able to fulfill, so that means we are elevated to that Brahmi Sthiti, that Brahman level, Brahman platform. At that point of time, the way we act, the way we behave, whatever we do, it will be totally different than when we identify ourselves with this material world and acting. So that's why Krishna is saying that once we achieve that status, we should not be Yenam Prapya na Vimukhyati. We should not be bewildered anymore. Nainam Prapya Vimukhyati. Yenam Prapya na Vimukhyati. So then until the time of death, we should be in that status. Stitvasyam Anta Kalepi. Until the time of death. So we need to be in that status. So then Brahma Nirvanam Richati. Then we will go to Krishna's well. Brahma Nirvanam Richati. Then Krishna's well is revealed to us. So that way we understand in Bhagavad Gita very well. In the second chapter itself, Arjuna asks such a nice question that what is the situation? What are the symptoms of a self-realized person? So that means the first thing is that we should be able to give up all varieties of desires for sense gratification. The first answer also Krishna started with that, and the last answer also in those 18 slokas, the first answer, that is the sloka number 55, Krishna said the same thing. And then in the sloka number 71, Krishna said the same thing. What did Krishna say in the 55th sloka? When Arjuna asked that question, what are the symptoms of a self-realized person? Krishna said that, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanyevatmano tustagam sthita prajnaka tadochate. One who is able to give up all varieties of desires for sense gratification, which arise from mental concoctions. So, similarly in the 71, in the sloka number 71, Krishna said the same thing. Vihaya kamanya sarvan pumams charati nisprihaha nirmamo nirahankaraha sasantim madhigacchati. So, prajahati yada kaman, vihaya kamanya sarvan, both same meaning. Prajahati yada kaman means one who is able to give up all varieties of desires for sense gratification, which arise from mental concoction. Sarvan partha manogata. So similarly, vihaya kamanya sarvan pumam sarati nispragaga. So that means one who is able to give up all varieties of desires for sense gratification and live in a desireless state. That's what pumams charati. Pumams charati means a person who lives nispragaga, without any desires in this material world. So then only we will become a sthita prajna. So that is called sthita prajna, means we will achieve this steady intelligence. That means we have intelligence. That way, if we are not affected by anything happening in this material world, if we are not attached to anything in this material world, so then we can declare, we can call that we are a sthita prajna. But how to become like that? That's a different question. How to not get affected by anything in this material world? How to not get attached to anything in this material world? So that is a different question. That's what we are studying in this entire Bhagavad Gita. That's why when Arjuna keeps asking the question, then Krishna says everything. Krishna is answering all the questions very nicely. Like one question Arjuna asked in the 54th sloka, Krishna took 18 slokas to answer it completely. And one question Arjuna asked in the 7th sloka, that is, Arjuna simply asked that you tell me what is good for me. So then from 8th sloka to 53, sloka number 53, Krishna spoke everything or gave all the knowledge. So basically, it is he is actually from 11th sloka only Krishna starts answering. But in the 7th sloka, Arjuna asked that question, Karpanya doso upagata swabhavaga prichamitvam dharma sammuda chetaga yastreyasya nischitam bruhit tanme sisyaste agam sadimam tvam prapannam. So due to myself weakness, I lost all my composure because of myself weakness. So now in this condition, I don't know what is right and what is wrong. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is good for me. So that is the question Arjuna asked. So Krishna gave the answer. So in the 43 slokas, from 11th sloka to 53 slokas, 43 slokas, Krishna answered everything. In those slokas, Krishna explained about the Sankhya Yoga. There is Jnana Yoga, about the soul. And then Krishna also explained about the Buddhi Yoga. That is also how to act with intelligence. So that way Krishna gave all the answers. So that was good for Arjuna, that is good for us. And we need to have this knowledge. So that means all the time we should be able to live with the consciousness that we are the soul, we are not the body. But to do that, we have to get this whole knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, and we should connect with Krishna more and more. We should be completely connected with Krishna. Then only it is possible. This material world, everything is temporary, knowing that very well. And Krishna is our constant companion. Krishna is there with us all the time. And we should find enjoyment. We should find enjoyment in glorifying Krishna. We should find enjoyment, the real happiness in remembering Krishna's name, calling out Krishna. So that's why Krishna is saying that Machitta. Matchitta means always thinking about me. Matchitta. Matchittaga sarva durgani matprasada tarishyasi. I quoted this sloka many, many times. So just by always thinking about me, by my mercy, all your problems are solved. Matchittaga sarva durgani matprasada tarishyasi. Manasamyamya matchitto. So you control your mind by thinking about me. Manasamyamya matchitto. Matchitta madgata prana. Bodhayantaga parasparam. Kadayantascha mamnityam. Tusyanticha ramanticha. So that way Krishna is using the word matchitta, matchitta many, many times. Like in the 9th chapter we studied about matstani, 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 like that, correct? Continuously Krishna used in those slokas, 4th sloka, 5th sloka, 6th sloka. In the 9th chapter we studied that matstani, matstani, like that. Here Krishna is saying that matchitta, matchitta, matchitta. Then Manmana, always think of me. So if you take Krishna out of this Bhagavad Gita, then what are we going to get? So that's why if anybody is teaching Bhagavad Gita, talking about Bhagavad Gita, he should talk only about Krishna, nothing else, no one else. No one else. Only Krishna, that's it. Completely Krishna. There is no need to go and quote different, even Krishna has come as different avatars, Krishna has come in different incarnations, all those things, but that same Krishna only came. That is the main thing. Because Krishna is the Adi Purusha. Krishna is the original supreme personality of Godhead. So if we are connected with that Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, as he taught in Bhagavad Gita, so that's why Matchitta is very important word. Matchitta is very, very important word. We should focus our mind only on Krishna. That's it. Period. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So Matchitta, Madgata, Prana, Bodhayantaga, Parasparam. Kadayantascha mam nityam tusyanticha ramanticha. So that way if we talk about Krishna all the time, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's stories, Kadayantascha mam nityam tusyanticha ramanticha. We are going to find that happiness. So we need to, first of all, find that happiness. That is we need to experience that happiness. So then we are going to get attached. Like people go and watch movies because they find some kind of enjoyment there. And they spend a lot of time going there, watching movies, and all the hours will go, and you are completely forgetting our reality, and then watching the shows and all such things. People go and watch games, and for hours they watch games. And even if there is a cricket, or if a World Cup, or any this cricket or IPL, all cricket games, we'll go and sit in front of a TV and watch for so many hours. So, like that, we should be able to find happiness, enjoyment in knowing about Krishna, in thinking about Krishna, studying Bhagavad Gita, studying Srimad Bhagavatam. So we should get that enjoyment. That's what Krishna is saying, that Matchitta, Madgata, Prana, Bodhayantaga, Parasparam, Kadayantascha, Mam Nityam, Tusyanticha, Ramanticha. That's what we are doing. That's what we are doing every day. Every day we come together, we study Bhagavad Gita. We are getting so much enjoyment, so much fun here. Real enjoyment, real happiness. When we know about our own self, when we know about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. So when we get this knowledge repeatedly, this Bhagavad Gita itself is a susukkam kartum. It can be joyfully performed. It gives us so much knowledge. So that way, by Krishna's mercy, if we understand this Bhagavad Gita fully, completely, then if we are able to fall in love with Krishna, then all the time our mind should be thinking only about Krishna, no one else. No one else in this material world. Every relationship, whatever we have in this material world, everything is temporary. Everything. We had such relationships in our past lives, many such relationships, many births we had. But all the time, everything became temporary. Nothing was permanent. We don't remember anything. But Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is there with us all the time. So we should remember Krishna. That is the main thing. So if we always remember Krishna, if we never forget Krishna, if we get this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita fully, so then our life will be very useful. We will be able to make use of this human body very effectively. As I say many times, This human body is a very effective tool what we have. Our hands, our legs, our brain, and everything what we have. It's a very effective vehicle, very effective tool what we have. It has got all the options included. Like when you go and buy a car, so with all loaded, fully loaded, correct? There is something called fully loaded. So like that, here our human body is fully loaded with all kinds of options we have. We should use this effectively to reach our destination. So if you buy all the fully loaded car, if you don't use them, if people don't know how to use all the options, how to use all the things given, all the tools, so then it is no use. So like that, here the human body is given. Krishna has given this human body, which has got so much capacity, so much we can do with this human body to reach Krishna, to remember Krishna, to get out of this material world. So all these things, so we need to effectively, so all these things are possible only if we are experts in this Bhagavad Gita knowledge. Because once we become experts of this Bhagavad Gita knowledge, we know what is right and what is wrong. We will be able to think in terms of this soul, not in terms of this body. So we know our life is going to end. Our life is going to end, but at the time of death, if we didn't know about ourselves, if we didn't know about Krishna, if we didn't develop our relationship with Krishna, if you are not able to connect with Krishna, if you are not able to remember Krishna, so then everything is waste of time. This entire human life will be complete waste of time. Because we are going to lose everything. Then again another birth and again start from fresh and again start going through the same nonsense. So that's why this Bhagavad Gita is very, very important knowledge, because Krishna is teaching us about our soul. And again, many times I have explained in the past, very scientifically it is proved that we are the soul. The existence of the soul is very, very scientifically it is proved. There is no doubt about it. There is simply no doubt about it. So in Bhagavad Gita itself, that's why Krishna is taking 20 slokas to explain to us very clearly that we are not the body, we are the soul. So in the 11th sloka to 30th sloka, Krishna is explaining so much. Now, even after explaining all these things, so now Arjuna is asking a question in the next chapter. We are starting the 3rd chapter today. In the 3rd chapter, first sloka, Arjuna is asking a question. Arjuna uvacha jayasi chet karmanaste matha buddhi janardana tatkim karmani gore ma nyojayasi kesava. O Janardana, O Keshava, jayasi chet karmanas te matha buddhihi. So Arjuna is using karma and buddhi. So karma, if you think karma, buddhi is intelligence. So te mata means you think. If you think intelligence is jayasi, karmanas means when compared to karma, when compared to doing our duty, when compared to doing our action. So if you think buddhi, intelligence is better. So because Krishna said, buddhya yukta yaya partha karma bandham prakasyasi karmajam buddhi yuktagi palam tyaktva manisinaga. So like that Krishna has used the word buddhi yukta, like that Krishna has used the word intelligence. That's why Sthita Prajna, whose intelligence is very well established. So when our intelligence is very well established, when I don't have any more desires in this world, I don't want anything. So that's what intelligence is very well established. That means you have no longer any desires for anything. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. So when you are able to give up all varieties of desires for sense gratification. So then why do you want me to fight in this ghastly warfare? That kim karmani gore mam niyojayasi kesava. I don't want. I don't have any desires. Already I told you Krishna, nakankshe vijayam Krishna, nacharajyam sukhanicha. I already told you Krishna. I don't desire any victory. I don't desire any this kingdom. Nakankshe vijayam Krishna, nacharajyam sukhanicha. So that way, I'm not attached. I'm able to give up. I'm able to give up the desires for sense gratification. So I don't want all this kingdom. So why do you want me to then fight here? Why do you want me to fight and kill everyone here? Is that intelligence? So you are asking me to use intelligence. Then you are asking me to fight here. Is that intelligence? That's what Arjuna is asking Krishna. If you think intelligence is better than fruity work, then why do you want me to engage in this costly warfare? So Arjuna's question again looks very relevant, because Arjuna knows from the beginning Krishna wants him to fight, and Arjuna is in a very confused state here. He was not able to decide what to do, and he didn't have any options also other than fighting. So at this point of time, Arjuna asked Krishna very clearly what he should do. And Krishna told that you are not the body, you are the soul. But you are stuck in this body, you need to use intelligence. So with intelligence, you work so that you can be freed from karma bandha and janma bandha. So, and what is meant by the sthita prajna? That means not having any desires for sense gratification. So then Arjuna is thinking here, by fighting in this battle means he is having desires for sense gratification. He wants the kingdom, then only he can fight. Because if he needs to fight, then if he is having attachment to the kingdom, then only he can fight. Otherwise, how can he fight? So when we want to do something, when we are writing an exam, or when we are doing some project, when we are doing something, when we are going to an interview, attending an interview, if you want to get that job, then only we will do very good in that interview. We will put all the efforts. So if you don't even have the desires, if you are not attached to the desires, that means if you don't want that job, or if you don't want to pass, then how can we do it? Then what is going to motivate us? We need motivation to do anything. The motivation itself is the results. And when we give up the attachment to the results, then where from the motivation comes? That's what Arjuna is asking Krishna here. So you want me to use intelligence? That's great. I want to use my intelligence. So that way, intelligently, by using my intelligence, I'm giving up all my desires for sense gratification. So that way I don't desire any victory. I don't desire any of this kingdom. So why do you want me to fight here? That is Arjuna's question here. So we need to understand, of course, in this entire Bhagavad Gita, when we study, we will understand, even at the end, Arjuna also understood very well that just because Krishna wants, he has to do. That's the only thing. So what Krishna wants, we should do. That is the main thing here. So we have to develop attachment to Krishna. That is the main thing. If we develop attachment to Krishna, then we will want to please Krishna. We will do everything only for pleasing Krishna. So when that becomes our motivation is only to please Krishna, then we will do all our activities without any attachment. Because here our goal is not the end results. Our goal is pleasing Krishna. That is our goal. Whether by doing this activity, we are able to please Krishna or not. So that's what our goal is. So then Arjuna in the next sloka, in the sloka number 2, he's continuing. Vyamisreneva vakyena buddhim mohayasiva me tadekam vada nishchitya yena sreyo ahamapnuyat. Vyamisreneva vakyena, by your equivocal instructions. That's what Vyamisreneva vakyena. My intelligence is bewildered. Now I am confused. So I am bewildered. My intelligence is bewildered. You are asking me to use intelligence, but at the same time you are asking me to fight in this ghastly warfare. You are asking me to kill my grandfather Bhishma and my teacher Drona and my cousins. Everyone you are asking me to kill. And is that using intelligence? An intelligent person, will an intelligent person go and kill all his relatives like this? So that's what Arjuna is asking Krishna, that now I am totally confused by your equivocal instructions. Vyamisreneva vakyena buddhi mohayasivami. So now you tell me one. If you want me to use intelligence, then don't ask me to fight. So that is the main thing. So because of your equivocal instructions, I am confused. So, tadekam vada nischitya yena sreyo aham apnyad. So, you tell me only one, ekam vada. Don't tell two. Don't confuse me. So, tell me only one, ekam vada nischitya yena sreyo aham apnyad. Again, Arjuna is asking the question, by which I can be benefited, which can benefit me. Yena sreyo. Yasre yasyam. Nishchitam bruhi tanme. That's what in the second chapter, 7th slokam, he asked. So, similarly here, yena sreyo aham apnyad, by which I can be benefited. So, that's a very important question Arjuna is asking. Arjuna is still not ready to fight. He already told Krishna that Nayotse iti Govindam. Govinda, I shall not fight. But he knows that Krishna wants him to fight. So, that way here Arjuna is again asking the question, intelligence means I should not fight. So, that means you only told me that to give up the desires for sense gratification. I don't want this kingdom. I don't want anything. Then why should I fight? So, but at the end he realizes that only thing he needs to do for Krishna, only to protect Dharma. So without any selfish interest, we should not be even thinking about that, what I am going to get by doing this. Whether by doing any activity, whether Krishna will be happy with this or not. If Krishna is not happy with that activity, we should not do those activities. So that is the question we should be asking, whether Krishna likes it or not. That's what is very, very important. If Krishna likes it, go ahead and do it. If Krishna doesn't like it, then don't do it. So now Krishna is answering in the next sloka, in sloka number 3. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Lokesmin Dvividha Nishta Pura Prokta Mayanaga Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. So, Lokesmin Dvividha Nista, Sri Bhagavan Vacha. So, Supreme Personality of Godhead said, in this world there are two kinds of faith, Dvividha Nista. So, Lokesmin Dvividha Nista. I have explained to you everything, Pura. Pura means fully. So, I have explained to you completely. So, Pura Prokta Mayanaga. Already, Pura means already, I have explained to you already everything to you. So, Pura Prokta Mayanaga. So, Mayanaga means, oh sinless Arjuna, oh sinless one, Arjuna, I have already explained to you all these things. So, what did Krishna explain? In the second chapter, sloka number 39, Krishna said that, Esate abhikita sankhe buddhi yoge tu imam shrunu buddhya yuktayaya partha karma bandham prakasyasi. So, until now, I have explained to you the Sankhya. Esate abhikita Sankhya. Until now. So now you hear from me about the Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga tu Imam Sunu. Then by acting with intelligence, you will be freed from the Karma Bandha, bondage to work in this world. So that's what in the sloka number 39 in the second chapter, Krishna told Arjuna. So that way here Krishna is saying that I have explained to you everything fully earlier. So Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam. So Krishna used the word Sankhya there in that sloka. In the second chapter, sloka number 39. He didn't use the word Jnana Yoga. So now Krishna is using the word here, like Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam. So now we understand what is Jnana Yoga. So what is Sankhya? So both are same. Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam. So Sankhya means it is the theoretical study about the soul. Theoretical study about knowing everything. So theory, basically theory part of this Bhagavad Gita. Theory is the Jnana Yoga. So there is the knowledge. We are gaining the knowledge. We are gaining the knowledge that we are not the body, we are the soul. So that's why Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam. And once you gain the knowledge, you have to apply that knowledge. You have to use that knowledge. How can we use that knowledge? By performing the activities. So that's why Karma Yogena Yoginam. So that's why Krishna is using the word Karma Yoga. But what did Krishna taught in the second chapter? Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga tu Imam Snu. So you hear from me about the Buddhi Yoga. Buddhya Yukta Yaya Partha Karma Bandham Prakasis. But here Krishna is saying that Karma Yogena Yoginam. So Yoginam means those who follow this Buddhi Yoga, this Karma Yoga. So now we understand that Karma Yoga and the Buddhi Yoga, they are one and the same. They are not at all different. When we use intelligence and then act with intelligence, So that is known as Karma Yoga, that is known as Buddhi Yoga. But Jnana Yoga or Sankhya is actually to gain the knowledge, to study and understand theoretically, to gain the knowledge. So that is the Jnana Yoga. So there is also Sankhya Yoga. But these two are not two different paths. We need to understand. A person who gets just the Jnana, so only the knowledge, by performing this Jnana Yoga, that means by studying this Bhagavad Gita, if he is not becoming a yogi, that means if he is not acting, so then there is no use. We need to use both. We need to get the knowledge and we need to apply the knowledge. That's why Krishna is saying that this Jnana Yoga, this yogi is the topmost among all. So karmibhyaschodhiko yogi jnanibhyopi matadigaga. Krishna is saying that then yogi is above all. So tapasvibhyo diko yogi jnanibhyopi matadigaga karmibhyaschadiko yogi tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. That's why you become a yogi. So that's why Krishna is teaching. So that way we understand about the Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam, Karma Yogena Yoginam. Jnana Yoga, Sankhya are same, Karma Yoga, Yoga are same. So many times in Bhagavad Gita, when simply Krishna talks about yoga, that is Karma Yoga, basically. That's what yoga. Even in the 4th chapter also, yoga, Krishna talks this Bhagavad Gita, it's yoga. We are acting without any attachment to the results. So then in the next sloka, Krishna is saying that, in the 4th sloka, in the 9th chapter, in the 4th sloka, Krishna is saying that na karmanam anaramban naiskarmyam purusosnute na cha sanyasana deva siddhim samadhigacchati. So na karmanam anaramban means one who does not perform his duties. That's what na karmanam anaramban. So anaramban, karmanam, na anaramban. So one who is not performing his duties, na karmanam anaramban, naiskarmyam purusosnute. So he is not going to get free from the reactions of the work. So only by performing our duty, we can get freedom from the reactions. Without doing our duty, we won't be even able to get freedom from reactions. So that part we need to understand. So similarly, not just that means we have to act. So simply by sannyasana, simply by renunciation alone, not just sannyasana deva siddhim samadhigacchati. One cannot attain siddhi, perfection. Just by renunciation alone, one cannot achieve perfection. One cannot attain perfection. So that's what in the 6th chapter, 1st sloka we study. Anasridaga karma palam karyam karma karotiyaga sasanyasi cha yogi cha naniragnigina chakriyaga. So one who is not attached to the results of activities, so then performs the activities, he is known as sannyasi. Anasridaga karma palam. One who is not attached to the results of the activities. So only that person is a sannyasi. So that's what we need to understand. That it's very clear. So we should not be confused between, oh, there are different yogas taught in Bhagavad Gita, Jnana Yoga and Buddhi Yoga, Karma Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. They're all different paths. We should not think like that. Everything is same. That's why we need to study Bhagavad Gita fully as it is. So by Krishna's causeless mercy, we have successfully finished 4 slokas in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita today. And I will stop now and we'll discuss if any questions are there. Hare Krishna. I'll hand over to Siva Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Siva Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Guruji. We don't have questions, but there are a lot of...
Ayush Prabhu, we will just talk to you.
Importance on Karma Yoga?
Yes, Prabhu. More importance means it's yoga. Yoga means you are, that's what Prabhu, we cannot differentiate like it is Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, all are same only, Prabhu. It's not like that Krishna is giving importance to one particular yoga like that. All yoga are the same thing only, Prabhu. That is the main thing we need to understand. So So yoga means achieving a status when you are actually not affected by the results, when you are equal. So aruruksher muner yogam karma karanam uchyate. That's what Krishna is saying there. Even to achieve the status of yoga, first thing is you need to act, karma karanam uchyate. Without performing our activities, we cannot achieve the status of yoga. What is meant by yoga? Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva, samatvam, yoga uchyate. So being equal in both success and failure, so that equanimity is called yoga. So how can we achieve, how can we prove that we are equal in both success and failure? So only by acting, only by performing our duties. So that's why that karma yoga is very important to prove that we are a yogi. Once we become a yogi, then we can stop working. You understand that, Prabhu?
Yes, sir. I understand it. Thank you,
Yes.
sir.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you, Guruji. I'll unmute Srinivas Naredla. Srinivas, you can.
That just whether we have to do our duty or whether we have to remember only Krishna and leave everything. So it is clearly told that you have to perform your duty. Then only you will able to know whether you are attached to results or not. So it is clear from this chapter that we have to perform our duty. In front of Arjuna, there is a war, but in front of us, there is a daily, whatever the activities in the materialistic world, whatever we have. But only thing we want to know, without attachment to the results, how we have to perform, and we should, how we have to perform, and how to attain. We need not to attain. We need not to. A little bit confused about, without focusing on results, how we have to perform.
Same thing, Prabhu. Arjuna. Just take the example of Arjuna. Arjuna is a very good example for all of us. Because when Arjuna finally realized that he has to fight for Krishna, because Krishna has come here to establish Dharma. So when Krishna told Arjuna, as a Kshatriya, your goal, your duty is to protect the righteousness. You have to fight for Dharma. So Dharmyadi Yuddha Shreyo Anyad Kshatriyasya na vidyate. So Atachetvam imam dharmyam sangramam nakarisyasi tata swadharmam kirtim cha hitva papam avapsi. So you need to do your dharma. So the dharma is based upon our swabhava. So everyone has got swadharma. Based upon our swabhava, we have our swadharma. Our swabhava is based on what modes of nature are controlling us. A combination of modes of nature. So that way, our duty is to follow our swadharma. So that Arjuna understood, after getting the complete knowledge from Krishna, he needs to please Krishna. That was his main thing. So then he was fighting at that time. He told so many reasons to Krishna. He cried like anything. His eyes were full of tears and all such things. But where all those things have gone? Arjuna told Krishna that even if I become the king of all the three worlds, even if I get a kingdom in this earth itself, which is equivalent to the heaven, even if I get the heaven in this earth by fighting, by winning this war, I cannot find any means to drive away my grief. So, nahi prapasyami mamapanudyadi achokam uchchosanam indriyana. Where all those things have gone? A person who told that I'm not finding any means to drive away my griefs, to drive away all this, my worries and everything. He was telling Krishna that now I am very well situated, my confusions are gone, my doubts are gone, I'm not bewildered anymore. Now I'm going to fight for you. Because he realized that he should think about what Krishna wants. His goal is only to please Krishna. That's what we should also do in our life. So in our life, every day when we do all our activities, we should just think that we are doing it for Krishna. That is the main thing. So then we will be able to give up the attachment to the results because we are attached to Krishna. You understand that, Prabhu? Hare Krishna.
Yeah, yes, Prabhu. We understand.
Hare Krishna.
Only thing, another thing we want to know, what Krishna want us to do.
That's why
So,
we should study Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita, yes, right. If you
That's
continuously,
what, Prabhu?
if you continuously study and learn and keep on, we may develop intelligence, and then we will be able to know what is the right thing to do.
In fact, I can tell you right now itself what Krishna wants us to very clearly, Prabhu, very clearly for all of us.
Yeah, please.
Krishna wants us to spread this Bhagavad Gita everywhere, Prabhu. That's the only thing Krishna wants from us right now.
Yeah.
So at the end, Krishna is saying very, very clearly that Yaidam Paramam Guhyam Madbhaktes Abhidasati Madbhaktes Abhidasati Bhaktimayi Param Kritva Mam Evesisi Asamsya. To anyone who gives this knowledge to my devotees. So for their, I guarantee their devotional service unto me. Madbhaktes Abhidasati Bhaktimayi Param Kritva. Mamevesisi asamsya. They will come to me, there is no doubt about it. That's the only thing Krishna wants from us, Prabhu. So we are so many devotees now. Every day we are studying, every day we are doing. Now we need to think about how we can group together, how we can make this known to everyone, make this opportunity, how we can give this opportunity to everyone. How are everyone knows about this? No. Only those who goes and finds that Facebook and they click and maybe they join. Only very few people are no. Now we have a big team. We have at least 30 plus devotees are joining every day. We have to now think about it. Now we have to plan. We need to. This should become our primary task. We need to now. There is an opportunity, huge opportunity is there in front of us to serve Krishna. So there are so many devotees. There are millions of devotees are waiting to receive this knowledge. So that's what Krishna wants us to do, Prabhu. If we do that, then everything else is very nicely taken care. We don't have to worry about anything. You understand that, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. It's very clear.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you.
All the verses of chapter 3, whatever we discussed today. So let me concentrate on the third verse where Lord Krishna says, Lokena Spittanigdha Pura Prokta Mayagnam Jnana Jogena Sankhyanam Karma Jogena Joginam. So here actually I would like you to elaborate on this the differences between Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga, and what are the differences, difference, and what are the similarities? Could you explain on that?
Yes, Prabhu. See, it is, again, we need to understand that both are not two different yogas. We need to understand. So what we are studying every day, we are studying this Bhagavad Gita. This is Jnana Yoga. So we are getting the knowledge. So that's what Jnana. Jnana means knowledge. So yoga means anything which brings us closer to Krishna, which makes us become equal in both success and failure. That is called yoga. So when you are gaining this knowledge, you are understanding we are not the body, we are the soul. So that's why Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam. So Yesate Abhigita Sankhya. That's what Krishna told in the second chapter 39 sloka. So that way we are getting this knowledge, means what we are doing is Jnana Yoga. Every day we are doing this Jnana Yoga. We are studying this Bhagavad Gita. But we cannot say that Jnana Yoga is better than Karma Yoga, something like that. Then that statement itself is wrong. Because Jnana Yoga is the theory. When you are studying that theory, if you don't apply that theory, if you don't use that theory, if you don't use that knowledge, then it is of no use at all. So there is nothing like one can be only a Jnana Yogi and he can perfect. So Jnana Yogi ultimately has to become a Karma Yogi. So we have to perform our duty. Everyone has to perform our duty. Krishna is saying that Nahi Deha Prita Sakyam Tyaktum Karmani Asesataka. Having obtained this human body, we cannot completely give up all our activities. We have to perform. Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam Karma Jayogi Akarmanaga Sarira Yatra Pichate Na Prasadayet Akarmanaga. Having got this human body, we have to act. Because we are not going to get anything by not doing our activities. So that way, Whether a person who has got the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita or not, we have to act, we have to do our duty. So with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, we should be able to act without attachment. That is the main thing. That's why sakta karmani avidvamso yata kurvanti bharata kuryad vidvams tata asaktaga chikirsigu loka sangra. A person who has no knowledge will act with attachment. So now vidvamso, because you have the knowledge, so you act without attachment. So that's why kuryad vidvams tata asaktaga. So without attachment means you act for the benefit of this world. Chikirsigu loka sangraham. So we are not selfish anymore. We don't want to accumulate a lot of things for our own self. We are not after anything in this material world, material sense object. So simply work for the welfare of the benefits of this entire world. That's what Krishna is saying. So that's what Jnana Yoga means. You have the knowledge, and what the knowledge we have? We have the knowledge that we have to act without attachment. So asaktaga. So then if we are able to do like that, then we will be able to go to Krishna as well. So that's why this is Karma Yoga comes into picture. So both are not different, both are needed. So it's now both are not two different ways. So that's what we need to understand. Is that clear, Prabhu? Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you, Guruji.
We even talks about the realization, you should get realization. So what is exactly like, how does we are going to experience?
Yes, Prabhu. So when we focus on serving Krishna, Prabhu, we will become too busy in serving Krishna. We will not find time to do anything in this material world, material things. So that's how our life should become. Our life should become very much engaged in serving Krishna. So by studying this Bhagavad Gita, so like I was answering Srinivas Prabhu's question, that what we are supposed to do. So we are supposed to teach this Bhagavad Gita, spread this Bhagavad Gita, Prabhu. That is the main thing. So that way, all the time we should be thinking that how can we give this knowledge to others? How can we make many devotees? So that should be only our question. That should be the only. That's what Srila Prabhupada did. So he took, at the age of 70, he took a cargo ship to come to US. So he didn't know anyone here. He was 70 years old. So he was doing it for Krishna. So he could establish, because of his so much desire to please Krishna, Krishna is used. And one more thing I am telling you, based on my experience, and of course, Srila Prabhupada's experience I just quoted. If we desire to serve Krishna by spreading this Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is going to fulfill that desire. Krishna is going to provide all the opportunities for us. So now we all have to come out with ideas. Like sometimes in the industries or companies or even in schools, there will be competition, correct? Design competitions. So come out with very great ideas. So then they will try to use it, correct? Design competition, something like that. So here we need to all come out with ideas. We need to group together. We need to form. We need to, now we have made that critical team. We have a great team and we are studying Bhagavad Gita. So our only goal, if we become very busy, very occupied, so then we will be engaged in Krishna's service all the time. So that way, what is going to happen? There are more and more and more devotees. We are going to come and join our team. Our team is going to grow much bigger. And our goal is only to please Krishna. And our goal is all the time to spread this Bhagavad Gita. That's it. We don't want to do anything more or less than that. So just that is only our goal. So that way, if we do that, if we fully engage ourselves in that kind of service, so then our life will be very nice. Very simple thing. Like Timir Prabhu was asking me, I couldn't even send that message to some devotees to go on to our Facebook, and he has posted a lot of messages to do some likes. So like that we can do, and like our YouTube subscriptions also now it's increasing. Krishna's mercy, we are slowly growing. Krishna's mercy. But we all have to come together and plan very well, so that we can make more devotees. We can identify all the devotees and teach them Bhagavad Gita. If everyone gets this knowledge that they are not the body, they are the soul. Everyone means all the devotees. That is the main thing. Again, we need to understand that we cannot make everyone in this world to become devotees. If that was possible, Krishna would have done this long time ago. Now Krishna is giving us opportunity to serve him so that we can go to Krishna's world. So that's why Krishna is giving this opportunity to serve him by making more devotees. You understand that, Prabhu? Babu?
Yes, 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 Guruji. Thank you, Guruji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guruji. I see a new name, Satya Varshinya. I think you have joined recently. I'll unmute.
Working under the boss, Guruji. Boss is ordering us to do something unethical. I want to do, shall we do it without attachment of the results? I'm not expecting the results. Without attachment to the results, can I do the unethical thing ordered by my boss?
It's a very nice question, Prabhu. Very
Yes.
practical question.
I'm telling the example. Some I'm not including for politics here. Someone president, he followed whatever the prime minister told. He signed whatever the prime minister told. He signed, but he's not attached to the results. Shall we follow that principle, Guruji?
Okay, Prabhu. One thing we need to understand here, Prabhu. Well, that's why this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is very important. It's very, very important to have this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. We know that our boss is only Krishna is our boss.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
So we directly report to Krishna. That is the main thing.
Yes.
So how that is going to be possible with this Bhagavad Gita? See, the Guru is only can connect with Krishna. That's it. So, but Krishna is the boss. He's the supreme boss, and he is the super soul, and he is the controller of everything.
Yes.
Everybody else in this world, materially speaking, on our job, boss, all those things are all material qualifications. Maybe materially they are powerful. They are having some control over us. All those things, but all those things are temporary control. Nothing is permanent.
Yes.
So, if it is unethical or ethical, the decision has to come based on our knowledge in Bhagavad Gita. That is the main thing. So that's why this Bhagavad Gita knowledge is very, very important, Prabhu. So if Bhagavad Gita knowledge is very important, if we get this knowledge fully, if we surrender unto Krishna, if we serve Krishna, then Krishna is there in our heart as the super soul. First of all, he will not even put us in that kind of situation also. That's another thing. And Krishna will also give the solution. This kind of situations, first of all, won't come. And even if it comes, we will be able to know with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita whether it is something Krishna likes it or not, Krishna approves it or not. That is the main thing. Again, that same question comes like what we discussed today. So, if Krishna is approving, then we can do. If Krishna is not approving, then sometimes we may ask a question, oh, if I don't do that, then I will lose my job. All those questions will come. But I want to tell, based on my experience and with this Bhagavad Gita, Krishna will actually never ever put us in that kind of situation. Krishna will solve the problems. Krishna will do our tasks actually. In fact, when we are so much busy in serving Krishna, Krishna will be doing our job. Like what Krishna did for Arjuna, he was driving Arjuna's chariot. It's a very important job in the battle, because even if Arjuna is very heroic, very powerful, if the chariot driver, if the charioteer is not driving properly, not driving, then we will be in trouble. So Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God, took that job actually. He took that job and he was just obeying Arjuna's orders. Because Arjuna will be definitely during that war asking Krishna that in the beginning itself, in the second chapter, we studied that Senayor Ubayor Madhye Ratam Stapaya Me Achyuta. Oh Achyuta, please take my chariot between both the armies. Arjuna ordered Krishna. Krishna did that same thing. So Eva Muktva Arjuna Sanke Rathopasta Upavisat. So he actually no, not that one. So when Arjuna told like that, so then Krishna Stapayitva Rathottamam. So he took the chariot and stopped between both the armies. So that way Krishna will do that job, Prabhu, for us. So we will have to be focused so much in this, but depend on Krishna, Prabhu, and do it. And depending on the specific situation, I can explain whether we should really do it or not, unethical or ethical. But to a certain extent, you understand the answer, correct, Prabhu?
No, I understood very, very clearly. Understood. I am following that, Prabhu. I really, as he told, Krishna, since I am reading Bhagavad Gita, all the other things, I am connecting with the absolute space. I am always doing the right thing. But the boss, Krishna is never put me in the troublesome situation. Now I'm experiencing for the past 4 years. But
Yes.
sometimes the boss is telling, is ethical or unethical? Sometimes I'm feeling that it's unethical. Even that I'm doing that. We have to obey the boss. Boss is the Krishna. We have to obey the boss with a smile. So
Yes.
I accept that. I'm following that. This is a good message, Guruji. We have to pass this message to all the devotees, because sometimes they're having a confusion to how to resolve the dilemma situation. In that situation, it will be more helpful. We have to follow the Manmohan Singh. I'm frankly telling Manmohan Singh what he does. We have to follow the Manmohan Singh. We have to obey the boss. No ethical thing, no unethical thing. I'm following the Manmohan Singh principle in my career, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu, for the question.
Bhagavad Gita, Krishna will do everything. Krishna will completely give us complete guidance. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guruji. I'll unmute Vijay Prabhu. Vijay, you can
Hare
talk with
Krishna,
Guruji.
Guruji. Guruji, I have one doubt. Like when you said like the boss is Krishna, so does it the real boss is Krishna? Like that's what you mean, or does you mean that like whatever material boss we have, like we should look into him as Krishna? Like this sentence can have two meaning, right? One meaning is that our material.
Our real boss is Krishna. That's what I meant.
Okay. So in that case, if our real boss is Krishna and the material boss asks us to do something wrong, then we should not do it. Is that
That
correct?
is correct. That's why if he asks us to do something wrong, if that is against Krishna's wish, then we should not do it.
Okay. Thank you.
That is the meaning. That's what we should know, whether Krishna will be pleased with that or not. That's the question. Anything we do, any action we do, whatever we do, it should only please Krishna. See, Arjuna didn't want to fight, but he fought because he understood that that's what is pleasing to Krishna. So, like that, first of all, Krishna will not put us in that situation. If we are willing to serve Krishna, if our goal is only to please Krishna, we will not be even facing that situation. You will be able to see how in our life Krishna is actually helping in each and every moment. Prabhu, Krishna is there. Prabhu, he is helping a lot. He is not sitting idle. Prabhu, Krishna is not sitting idle and watching us. The more and more we serve Krishna, you will see that this. That's why Krishna is saying that Mat Prasadat. So by my mercy, so all the Sarva Durgani Mat Prasadat. So Prasade Sarva Dukkana Hanirasyo Pachayate. Everything is gone. Krishna's mercy is there. All our obstacles, all our problems are solved. So that way, Prabhu, Krishna will take care, Prabhu. Depend on Krishna. So then that situation itself won't come. Even if that situation comes, Krishna will help us. That is the main thing. You understand that, Prabhu? Timir Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes. Thank you for the clarification. And also, as you mentioned that before like few years, we can see when we are not reading Bhagavad Gita, we are just wasting our time with gossip, and we will say something about some person, and that person will come back and say, he said that, she said that, you said so and so about me, and like that we will be in so much difficult situation. But once we start studying Bhagavad Gita, then we don't have any time to do like gossips or do some like say some bad word about somebody else, and that way like Krishna saves us from so many troubles. We just focus on learning Bhagavad Gita. Thank you, Guruji. Thank you.
Yes, but you yourself know, Prabhu, like in IIT Madras, we established such a very big, very nice team of Bhagavad Gita. Like you started in 2000, when Prabhu, 2007 or 8, you joined?
2009.
2009. But I was able to be in touch with you when you joined in 2009, when I graduated in 1997. So 1993, I joined my PhD. You know, at that time, because I spent so much time only in this spreading Bhagavad Gita, arranging Bhagavad Gita lecture, and Prabhupada's centennial celebrations, a lot of things. So much of time, Krishna's mercy. It's Krishna's causeless mercy. But my PhD results came very nice, wonderful, and published excellent journal papers and got the excellent job. You know, all those things, Krishna is taking care of. So if I was worried all the time, oh, what will happen, all those things, so then we will be only worrying. So that's why I'm just giving us an example. If we serve Krishna, we will see that Krishna is taking. Even you have also experienced, correct, Prabhu? So that will happen, Krishna's mercy.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guruji. I think Professor Natarajan has, since you are spreading Bhagavad Gita, yes, that's true.
That's
And
it.
I'll unmute Sadia Varshinia. I think you're joining recently.
It's by you, as always. So there are no questions from my side because you explain so nicely every time. So, and it's good that now we completed the second and we moved to the third chapter simultaneously. So thank you for teaching us and giving us this opportunity to learn from you. Thank you.
Yes, Mataji, thank you. Bhagavad Gita has got answers for all the questions, Mataji. That's the main thing. Krishna's mercy. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guruji. I see another name, Srinivas. I think this.
For duties and other things. How, according to the Krishna, how does he defines the life?
How does he defines the life?
Life. The definition of life, according to him.
Our life here is like in this material world is a miserable place. That's what Krishna is defining, that our life is actually is not fun at all in this material world. It is a dukkhalayam. So it's a place for miseries. It's a temporary miserable place. So Krishna wants us to get out of this place and go to his place, which is permanent and blissful place. So that's why Krishna wants us to get this knowledge and get attached to him, connected to him, and then go to Krishna as well. Remember Krishna at the time of death. So our goal, we are going to die, we are going to lose everything. There is no doubt about it. Everything is going to come to an end in our life in this material world. There is no doubt. Whether it is today or tomorrow, we don't know when it is. Even after 30, 40 years or 100 years, even if a person lives up to 100 years also, there is nothing is guaranteed in this life. Everything is temporary. Any moment, anything can happen. Everything is beyond our control. So we need to effectively make use of this opportunity now to just before we die, we should practice to remember Krishna so that at the time of death, we can remember Krishna and go to Krishna. So that's what Krishna wants us to live like that, live like a Krishna consciousness, all the time remembering me only, remembering Krishna only. That's why he says that you remember me all the time. So that happens if we have the Bhagavad Gita knowledge. Without Bhagavad Gita knowledge, we will be under illusion in this material world. We will be materially attached. We won't even know about Krishna. So that way our life should be full of Krishna consciousness. That is the main thing. Always remembering Krishna, always doing everything for Krishna, 24/7 being connected with Krishna. So that is the main thing we should do. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
You understand, bro?
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. I am Paul Pandit.